Missing Kim. Kim Jones is a high school student. This is her junior year. Kim works after class. This keeps her from home. Her mom never sees her. She and her mom never talk anymore. Today, things got worse. Kim is gone. No one knows where. She did not come home. Her mom is sick with worry. She thinks back to what she knows. She called Kim's cell. She called over and over. Kim did not pick up. She called 911. 911 would not help. Mrs. Jones, the caller said, "It has not been a full day. A full day must pass." "A full day?" Mrs. Jones said. "So you can't help me?" "A full day must pass," the caller said. "Then we can make a missing persons file." Mrs. Jones hung up. What could she do? She could not wait for help. Kim could not be dead. Mrs. Jones called Lisa. Lisa is Kim's best friend. "Lisa," Mrs. Jones said. "Sorry to wake you." "That's okay," Lisa said. "Kim is gone," Mrs. Jones said. "I keep calling her cell." "When did you see her?" "I saw her today after class." "She was going to work." "Lisa, did Kim talk to you?" "She was mad at Alan," Lisa said. "They had a fight." Kim was dating Alan. Mrs. Jones did not know him. Kim never talks about him. Did Alan hurt Kim? Did he know where Kim was? Did she run away? It is very late. The city is asleep. Mrs. Jones can't sleep. Mrs. Jones goes to Kim's night job. Kim works at a snack shop. It is always open. Mrs. Jones sees Nick. Nick is Kim's boss. Kim was there, Nick says. She worked late. Nick, Mrs. Jones says. Did you see her go? Yes. She was going to walk home. One more thing, Mrs. Jones says. Was Alan here? Yes, they had a fight. A fight? What was it about? I could not hear them, Nick says. They were outside. Mrs. Jones walks to the door. She is sad. Where is Kim? Does she know Kim? No, excuse me. Does she know Kim now? Does she know Kim now? Mrs. Jones, Nick says. Wait. She turns. Here's Kim's cell. She left it here. Mrs. Jones looks at Kim's cell. There are cracks on it. Her cell broke, Nick says. It broke from the fight. The fight? Was she hurt? I don't think so. I did not see them fight. Mrs. Jones is mad. She goes to her car. She calls Alan. He does not pick up. Mrs. Jones calls again. He does not pick up. She calls again. Hey, Alan says. Who is this? Alan, she says. This is Kim's mom. Did I wake you? Yes. Good. Where is Kim? I don't know, Alan says. Yes, you do. You saw her at work. You had a fight. So? Tell me, Mrs. Jones says. Why did you fight? Stay out of it. This is not about you. Mrs. Jones is mad. Alan, she says, I am Kim's mom. It is about me. Where is she? I don't know, Alan says. I did not take her home. She would not let me. Tell me more. That's it. She wanted to walk home. Now back off. Alan, Mrs. Jones says. Alan? But Alan is gone. He hung up. Mrs. Jones begins to cry. She sits in her car. She needs more clues. Tap, tap, tap. It is Lisa. She is outside the car. Lisa, Mrs. Jones says, what are you doing here? I could not sleep. Lisa says, I want to help. You must go home. Mrs. Jones says, it's late. Your mom and dad will be mad. They think I'm in bed. Lisa says, I came to talk to Kim's boss. I did, Mrs. Jones says. She begins to cry again. Don't cry, Lisa says. We will find Kim. I just called Alan. Mrs. Jones says, I think he hurt her. I don't think so. He would never do that. Then where is Kim? She would call me if she could. Mrs. Jones, Lisa says, I have a plan. Tell me. Let us walk to your home. We will walk from here, just like Kim. Just like Kim, Mrs. Jones says. Do you mean the same path? Yes, Lisa says. Why not? We might find a clue. Let's do it. Lisa and Mrs. Jones leave the car. They walk from the shop. I have done this with Kim, Lisa says. She walks this way. Lisa leads Mrs. Jones into the city. I can't see out here, Mrs. Jones says. It is too dark. Use your cell. There is a light in it. They walk a few blocks. They come by a big open lot. It has tall grass. Kim told me about this, Lisa says. She cuts across here to save time. They walk into the lot. Lisa hits a bag with her foot. That is Kim's bag, Mrs. Jones says. She was here. Kim, can you hear me? Mom, Mom, help. Mrs. Jones and Lisa see a hole. It is a dark well. Lisa puts her cell light over the hole. Kim, Mrs. Jones says, are you in there? I fell into this well, Kim says. Did you find my bag? Yes. Are you okay? I think I broke my leg, Kim says. We will get help. Lisa called 911. She and Mrs. Jones sit at the well. They talk with Kim. Kim, Mrs. Jones says, we never talk. I miss that. I know, Kim says. We will. The sun is about to come up. Lights flash. Sirens wail. Help is here. The end.